and we'll help you get there.
Episode 6.
It's episode 5.
Episode 5. Adam Zaki here alongside Andrew Birkin, Sam Schmidt on the other side of the glass, Ray being security guard for the next 10 minutes. Introducing our 2 guests here to the studio. They're going to hang out on the couch so they understand who's in control of the situation.
That's what's important.
That's very important. As you could tell by the tone of my voice, I'm thrilled to be here today. I did half a tab of acid for the first time yesterday, and it was pretty lame, and I'm bummed out about it. And I think my body thinks I did a whole tab of acid, so now I'm tired.
Yeah, no, you should have done a full tab of it. Did you guys just cheap out? Like, what was the buying situation that you only got half a tab?
Well, the person who brought us the acid is a friend of all of ours, and if you know him, you know that he just lives life at 70% at all times. Like, it's never like he does anything perfectly. It's always just like average.
Yeah, no, unlike us.
Yeah, and exactly. So he just showed up. We went to Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and I didn't even know how much, the quantity, where he got it, whatever. He just showed up and said, put this on your tongue, and I did. You're breathing into the microphone. But, yeah, I did, and hold on, let me just fix my chair. And, yeah, it was pretty interesting.
We're off to a hot start.
We are, yeah. I mean, it was just like, I'm getting too old to do drugs. Like, I remember when shrooms was so cool when I was younger, and, like, I had, like, such a cool experience, and now I just turned 26, and I thought that this, like, experience with acid was going to be so cool, and it wasn't.
Your mind only opens up once.
Like, I think, like, if I took maybe more acid, but it's like, I feel like I'm getting to the point in my life where it's like, unless I have $10 million in the bank, like, why do I want to go to another dimension? Like, I think, like, I need to focus on, like, myself here, not, like, trying to find aliens.
Yeah, you know what? Like, the other dimension tells you that you need a new job.
Like, yeah, like,
that's what the other dimension tells you.
Like,
right
I was sitting in Prospect Park, and, like, I was, like, looking at a tree, and I was like, oh my God, I need health insurance.
Yeah, it's never, like, the first time you do, when was the first time you did psychedelics?
2014, so I was, like, 20, 21.
Right, so, like, at that point, you're like, I have so much ahead of me.
Yeah, like, you have no idea where your life is going to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't, like, made any career choices, and you've kind of just been fucking around for a few years, so when you, like, get all trippy and stuff, it's like, wow, like, I could be this person or that person. Like, I remember doing shrooms and riding a bike and listening to John Mayer's Battle Studies album, and it was phenomenal. Like, it was such a good experience, and, like, I don't know, yesterday was so much fun. Like, don't get me wrong, like, but it was cool. What's up, Ray?
Your guest is here.
Okay, tell him to come in about 10 minutes.
Tell him to pee outside.
Yeah, we'll let him know when he's allowed.
He can piss outside. Tell him to go right around the bush by the sign out there.
Yeah. Just make him comfortable. Offer him one of my Genesees that's in the bag.
Yeah, the bathroom.
I also have plum flavored wine.
The bathroom here is in the studio, which is a horrible place for it, but it is what it is. But yeah, so yesterday was an interesting day. Before we talk about our guests, did you do anything intriguing since we recorded last week and live at the 89 North Hall? Last week's podcast we did not on stage, like in front of the stage.
In front of the stage. We were in front of the stage at 89 North, and it was our first live show. It was our first live show. Yeah, and it was tough. It's tough to deal with hecklers while you're on a podcast.
Yeah, all of them, the empty beer taps and the unpaid rent of the establishment itself was really in the crowd going.
Yeah, Sam said that someone killed himself in the basement.
That is true.
I felt like we were kind of heckled by that.
Sam, is that true? Did somebody kill themselves in the basement of that place that we recorded last week?
Great.
All right, I guess that guy got Sam. Anyway, so did that guy kill himself in the basement of the studio? That's horrible, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that...
How would you take me to a place like that, Sam?
He didn't take you to the basement.
Thank God.
We had to walk past the basement. That was unsettling.
Yeah, and you like pointed it out, saying like you were better than us. Like on the way out, you were like, "This is the basement I was telling you about." Ha 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 ha. Yeah, to fuck with me, bro. You know I don't like scary shit, dude. I sleep with Nickelodeon on the television, so I don't get scary movie commercials. And you're pointing out haunted basements. It's just fucked up, bro.
Yeah. Yesterday was my birthday. I turned 25.
Oh yeah, we called you yesterday before we took the acid.
I know, that was relatively nice of you.
Yeah, well, it wasn't my idea, so I can't take credit for all the niceness. David said it. Our friend David said, "Yo, it's Andrew's birthday today."
Yeah, it's because Christine called him and asked if he wanted to come out to my birthday dinner, and he said he was busy.
Oh. See, he made it seem like he was like such a good friend, and he was like, "Yeah, today's Andrew's birthday." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, oh, bro, so maybe we should call him.
Yeah.
Like he made it seem like he was a little better than me, like Sam when he showed us the haunted basement.
Christine called him and she was like, "Can you come out to Andrew's nice birthday?" And he was like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm busy today. I have an important thing to do."
Did your girlfriend like take over your birthday? And,
Yeah.
Like construct the whole day.
It was actually
and
great.
Make sure it was perfect.
It was a really great and perfect day.
That would drive me fucking bananas.
I woke up. Listen to how much you would hate this, but how much I love this. So I woke up and there are balloons hanging from the ceiling, 25 balloons hanging from the ceiling, and a big happy birthday balloon on the wall. And
oh no.
then we hung out for a little bit. I opened some presents.
What's the card say? Because you've been together for what, 6 years?
4.5 years. A little more than 4.5.
And now, does the card still become like a giant thing of all writing, or is
No.
it? Now it's shortened to like "Happy birthday, we live together."
Yeah, and then there's like 3 sentences that are like the genuine, like, "I love you so much, you mean so much to me," blah blah blah.
Do you keep the card?
I now take a picture of all the cards and then I throw them out.
Really?
Yeah. If it's
That's more fucked up than throwing it out without taking a picture.
No, I'm
bro.
a minimalist. It's different.
That's weird.
So then she blindfolds me and puts me in the car. And then she drives around and she like takes all these weird turns. I'm like, "Where are we going?" And like she kept in the car. She would like pretend to hit me in the face to make sure that I wasn't. I was actually blindfolded, and I didn't know she did that, but it entertained her.
Where did she take you?
She took me to my parents' house, and then we had breakfast there. She had my sister get us bacon, egg, and cheese. And
She blindfolded you and took you to your parents' house?
Yeah, and then like I got to.
Why?
Because then they gave me gifts. I got some AirPod Pros.
Did she like want you to think that you were going somewhere like fun?
Yeah, and then it was my parents' house. But it's nice in COVID times.
That's fucked up, dude. I'd be fucking pissed.
I was happy.
If my
with it.
girl did that, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
What would you want her to take
Imagine
you?
you did that to her. Imagine it was her birthday and you blindfolded her and drove her on the block and then pulled up at her parents' house and said, "We're here for breakfast."
I don't know if she would be as happy.
She'd freak out. She'd be like, "What the fuck? Like, I thought we were going to the airport." She's thinking about the Instagram caption on the way to the airport blindfolded.
This is how low my expectations are of like my life now. I
horrible,
got out and I was like, "Oh, this is so funny. It's so funny that you brought us here. Like, it's so funny you brought me here."
You're pretending though, right? Like are you a little like, "Oh,
Dude, this is just like how low my expectations are. I was like pretty happy to be there. I was like, "Oh, this is great."
what have our lives come to?"
I don't know. I don't know. What do you want? What would you want?
On my birthday?
Like blindfold morning.
If there's a blindfold on my birthday, I better come. Don't bring me to my parents' house.
I mean, yeah. That's a fair statement, but I
I'm
don't
not
know.
a big birthday guy. I grew up a twin, so I have a twin sister, and you know how girls go on their birthday, so
Yeah, it's true.
it was usually about her, and I was always cool with that. Like my
Yeah.
sister was always able to have the day, but because that's happened for so long, like I just never have been a big birthday dude. Never had a birthday party, and I never want one. Like I feel like it's almost like a little narcissistic to like have a giant thing. I guess now when we're older, it's fine, but like as a kid, like why would a parent go out, rent a bowling alley, pay $1,500 for 20 10-year-old kids to go bowl for 4 hours?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like you're forcing the moment on your kid, like every
Like
year.
that would give me anxiety.
You
as
just
an
need some.
8-year-old.
I mean, the parents just live with anxiety constantly.
No,
Just
that's why they take 2 Xanax and they give the kid half of one.
I know. they're like,
So
they're like, eat your cereal. Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
then I went and did a picnic with my friends, and then I at night I came back, and she was just like, okay, and she's like, I'll be right back, and then she brought over like 2 of my good friends from the city, and I was like, oh, this is so nice, and then we went out to eat, and then like 8 more people came.
It sounds like that she gave you the best day possible with spending the least amount of money.
Yeah. But like what type of what would you want, like what do you want her to do for me?
No, I mean, it's really whatever you want to do. I mean, did you want to go to your parents' house?
Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe she did do a good thing. For me, if my girl blindfolded me and drove me to my parents' house, I'd say walk home and never talk to
I
me
mean,
again.
to be fair, if this wasn't like 2020 and this was the case, it would be a different story. I probably wouldn't be so excited to go to my parents' house.
I guess.
I wouldn't be like, oh boy, like what are we gonna do here? Just like have mimosas and talk with the family.
I'd rather eat a bullet than do that right now. But anyway, let's talk about our guests.
Yeah.
One of them is here, one of them is not.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're gonna make sure
The one that's here, is he the one that fucked up the situation that while we have 2 guests, or is he the one that
No.
said he was the backup guy that said yes?
Yeah, he was the one.
So this
who,
is the cool dude. This is the guy I like that's here.
yeah.
The other guy's fucked up.
Yeah,
because-
no, the other
Because
guy.
the other guy now put all 3 of us in a weird situation because now we have 2 guests. I'm glad these guests know each other because if they didn't, it'd be even weirder. But this kid here, what's his name?
Tom.
Tom's a good dude. I don't even know what he looks like. I think I met him before, but this guy.
This is the other guy now.
Oh, this is the
I'm
scumbag.
I'm gonna decline his call and I'm gonna give him Ray's number. He's gonna sit in the sweat box for 20 minutes.
So this guy who we're bringing on now, this guy Tom. What's Tom's last name?
Crescenzo.
Crescenzo. Sounds like a musician, but all right. So Tom Crescenzo is coming on the show. Maybe I met him, maybe I haven't. When he walks in here, I'll see what he looks like. But this kid's a good dude. Our first guest canceled. He was able to come through and come all the way out to Patchogue. I don't know where he lives, but before I even say hello to this guy, I meet him. Thank you, because we needed a guest this week. We didn't have one last week, and it was a good show. But it's always better when you have somebody here to talk to and bounce ideas off of. So, I mean, you could bring this guy Tom in. Ray, you can walk him in. I think his mic is set and ready
his
to go.
his mic is ready to go. It's hot. It's hot mic.
We don't have a cough button, so.
Yeah, I get Ray. That's our other guest, who
Yeah.
shall not be named right
So
now.
this guy
Tom,
Tom
you can
here.
come in.
Maybe Tom's riding the fuckets now. I just said all these nice things about him. Now this kid doesn't even want to come through the door. Come on, Tom. What are we doing?
I'm looking forward to him and his.
I definitely have met this guy before.
Yeah.
Sam,
Band shirt,
pull in
cargo pants.
pull in some walking music right now, Sam. Let's go.
This is a high budget.
Dun, 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 dun,
Where is he
dun, dun.
now? Where is he
I
now?
know, where is this guy, bro? Are you serious? We're fucking sitting here for 5 minutes saying bring this guy in.
Yeah, but
Are
bring
you
him in.
kidding me? This kid, Sam, bring this poor motherfucker in. I thought he was sitting in the studio.
Yeah, I thought he
with
was in the
you.
studio. You kept him out there. Okay.
Oh,
I like this.
man.
Okay.
I just said all these nice things about this fucking guy, and Sam's sitting there dilly dallying.
All
Come
right.
on, bro.
There
Come
he
on,
is.
Sam. Hey,
Hey,
man. I want this
there he
dude.
is.
I know this dude. Hey,
Welcome.
you
You
can
can
go
sit
to
right
either
there.
side.
You
Oh,
can
this
put on
dude's a
those
cool dude.
headphones.
So you couldn't hear anything we just said, right, man?
No,
didn't-
we were
I
saying a
didn't-
lot of nice things about you.
Oh, I'm sure.
man.
Yeah, since you're in the room, I know they were all nice.
Yeah.
Very nice things.
Just keep that a fist away from your face, as a great man has once said.
So we owe you a thank you because you came through. No, leave him out there for now because this kid
Oh,
is
yeah.
not the
Leave him
scumbag. We
out
got the
there.
cool kid in here right now
yeah,
because
that's right.
because this kid came through. This is the backup guest. Bring the other guest who bailed out at first into the studio back
Yeah,
there so you could hear me
we-
talk right now.
Yeah, this is important.
because
we wanted
the-
you in this room. We didn't
Yeah.
want you sitting in the silent room.
Oh, it's the silent room for the shitty guests.
Yeah, that's
No.
for the shit. That's for the guest who says he's gonna come and then doesn't come.
No,
and then we have to get a guy like you who last minute, I don't know if you had plans tonight. Now you got to come here and show up to talk to us.
yeah.
And now this guy says, the original guest says, you know what? Yeah, I guess I'll come. So now we got 2 guys. Like I said, thank God you know each other. I think you know this guy, right?
Yeah,
Who
you
came in here?
know this other guest
Do
who's
I?
gonna come in. Yeah,
Who is this?
you'll see it when you'll see him in that little window,
I'm excited.
and then and you'll know who it is, and you'll know why he fucked us over.
Oh, okay.
You'll-
It'll all
you'll-
add up.
You'll see. You'll be like, this is the guy who would fuck you over.
Right. I can only imagine.
So
I'm
I've seen
wondering.
you at a couple of the open mics, man, and you're pretty funny, man. I like your
Thank
stand-up. How did you get into comedy? Why do you try to make people laugh?
I've just always loved stand-up. So, like, when I was a kid, like, I would watch, like, Ralphie May's old stuff. And, like, back then it was, like, a superpower. I was like, I don't know how that exists, but it's incredible. And then, I started getting older, and, you meet people who start telling you you're funny. And really, I had a good friend who was also just a big O&A guy. I feel like everyone who gets into comedy on Long Island just has one friend who's super into Opie and Anthony.
He's fucking O&A guy.
And he's like, yeah, I'm so into O&A, and you like comedy too. Let's just gush over this together, and maybe we should do an open mic. And I was like, yeah, I'm down one day. And then, like, it's just something that I sort of took off on, and I would hit this guy up, and I'd be like, are we going to do one? And he's like, yeah. And then I just it just became my thing.
So, like, the first time you went on stage, was that the hardest part of comedy so far?
Actually, my first set was pretty good.
Really?
All things considered. I mean, it's always terrible.
You were in
actuality.
Florida, though, right?
No, actually, the truth is the first time I went on stage I was on a winter break from college, so I was here, and I went to the Creek in the Cave. And that was the first place that I did any kind of stand-up.
Ray, can you get our other guest in there? Is he in there?
Where's this bitch?
You can bring him in this room.
You want to bring him in here?
No, not into our room, but into the other room. Into the room where he can hear us berate him.
Well, we already berated him. I don't want to
room.
berate him any more than I have to. But it's like, I just appreciate good guys like this guy who's coming in here now, just on the whim, says, yeah, I can come in here. This is a guy who might be successful one day because he's actually going to show up on a Sunday night out of nowhere and do a podcast, and talk for a little while.
That's what's important.
Not sit around and, beat his meat for 2 hours.
Right, and I do coke, so I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Sometimes.
There he
Oh,
is.
man.
There's the other.
This is the guy.
Now
Yeah, I
it
know
makes
this
perfect
dude.
sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Now I could see why he almost bailed on you.
Yeah, no, he's very, very close to bailing on us.
So what we said before is that as our guest who bailed and then didn't bail is looking through the glass, this is a good guy. This is a guy who's going to be successful.
See, this is what a good guy looks like.
Off the
over
whim,
here.
this guy comes in and says, oh, I'll do a last-minute podcast about no problem.
Yeah.
You had hours. You knew what you were doing.
No, this guy
And
had
then you
since
said,
last night.
Oh, okay.
I told him last
You
night,
knew
and
since
he was
last
like,
night.
he goes, yeah, no problem, motherfucker. I'll be there. I'll be
course.
right in there, motherfucker.
And then what do? You smoke a little weed, you get a little drunk, you go, I can't make it there.
Yeah, he's at a
fucking
fantasy
natural.
football draft today.
He's got to
Oh,
keep up with his busy schedule of scraping his bubbler for resin so that he has enough high to masturbate later.
Yeah, the first that Adam was saying to Ray before, he goes, you'll when you see this guy, you'll know he masturbates a lot.
Yeah, this guy looks like he jerks off a lot. That's what I noticed when I first saw this dude.
He definitely jerks off a lot.
He looks like he jerks off slightly more than me, and that's saying something.
Yeah, and you'll look at the thumbnail picture for this podcast, and you'll all agree. You'll know that this is. You'll look at the two. I don't know if you look at the two of you and you had to guess who masturbates more.
It's tough.
It's kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I don't know. He's pointing at himself out there like he knows what's good. But
this is the thing. If
you
you
know
had to-
my grind.
If you look at the two of you and you go, who gets laid more?
Oh, well, I think definitely. This is Tom, right? Is your name?
Yes.
I think Tom does because Tom clearly pays attention to his eyebrows.
Is that it?
It's
the brows.
Yeah, which means that he's like he knows what girls think about him, which means he's getting laid. This guy showed up in a Patagonia sweater. He hasn't gotten laid in 8 months. Let's be real. You could bring him in though. I mean, I guess
All right.
Yeah, let him
finished
defend
berating
himself.
him,
Let him-
All right.
But
But it feels good to not let him defend himself for once, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
He just has to sit in there and take it.
he has been very funny though. I've seen both of you guys around. So yeah, come inside, yo. Bring him in if he could hear us.
Right,
I think his
man.
mic is all set up.
Yeah. So the guest that we're talking about is the great Zach Zorovich, and he's coming in right now.
Zach Zorovich.
Hey.
Well,
There he is.
At least he showed up. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you.
We
Prime importance.
we gave you the headphones that only work on one side because you kind of fucked us.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good metaphor of how I work. Just I'm a set of one headphones. I work only on one side.
Yeah.
No, but this kid's funny too. Like both of you guys have seen you at the open mics and stuff, and you guys are decently funny. I mean, the other guy too.
Decent.
The other guy who I like, who I want to get on here too. I can never remember his name. He's the black guy who loves his one hitter, the host.
Devin.
Yeah, Devin. He's-
Over Devin.
And now,
You mean he loves that one hitter I gave him?
oh, you gave him that one hitter.
Yeah, no, that's literally. I got that one hitter and I used it for like a year, and I was like, I need a new one. I'm just gonna give this to Devin.
So you guys are like, are the two guests? Are you guys familiar with each other in any way? Like,
I've heard
I've
of.
never seen this
I've heard of
motherfucker in my
Tom
life.
Crescenzo. No, we know each other. We see each other
Yeah,
at the
of
mics all the
course.
time.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like they say about comedy is like what you got to do is you got to like latch on to a certain group of people and then move up with those people.
Yeah, the problem is that no one's moving up.
Yeah, no one's
That's the,
moving
that's the
We're all-
problem.
we're
It's like
all
we
latching
latched
on.
onto a group of people.
And if they did move up, the 5 of us who didn't move up would be like, that guy sucks anyway.
100%.
Yeah, right. Like,
no,
literally
and,
all-
watch anyone who ever moves up. There's one person who's moving up, and everyone just only shits on him.
And who is that?
I wouldn't even say moving
I mean,
up.
I
We're
don't
not
even
naming
know
names,
moving
but-
up in not the best way, so it's somewhat justified.
Yeah,
but
but
it's true. Even if someone was moving up fully organically and earned all the work, and I was like friends with them, and when they were like on my level, I'd be like, you know what, they're a fucking sellout. Like if I was just like,
Yeah,
Well, there has
sellout.
to be a narcissistic part to it because it's almost like a politician where it's like these people want to hear what I have to say. You have to convince yourself of that, even if you don't believe it.
But as like an amateur comic, like do you guys feel like you're competing with one another more? Because like the audiences at that level are just other comics. So do you feel like it's more, I have to be funnier than the guy before me, or I have to be generally funny?
Well, there is kind of like, I feel like sometimes when you do open mics, you fall into a lot of jokes where they only work at open mics a lot. It's where you only do a lot of edgy jokes or jokes about masturbation and stuff like that, where a lot of times I'm trying to write, I'm always like, I have enough jokes about that. I need jokes about fucking Smurfs or some shit to lead it in. You know what I mean? Like something that's cutesy.
why Smurfs with you?
I don't know.
It's always the Smurfs. With
It's always the Smurfs.
Why not?
Is that
they
the
have it
only?
coming.
Is that the only clean topic you could think?
Yes.
Now, are you
Yes.
guys physically writing? Like, do you guys own books
Yeah.
and you write
I
down
type.
jokes?
I doodle a
You
lot
type.
more. I write, but I write more and then I pretty much doodle like more.
Yeah, no, his Zach's notebook looks like a child's notebook.
Yeah,
from,
it's a lot of
from
doodles.
elementary school. Like if you were like just like try to draw for your first time. Like you give like a kid like and you go like try to draw a dragon. And it's like a sort of like a mouth and then there's like a lot of squares.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. But I do one of those every time I go up, and I think it just like keeps my mind fresh a little bit.
It keeps his mind fresh, he says.
Yeah, because I never
With
draw the same
with
thing twice.
squinted eyes and
At
just
what
like
point of like the level of comedy do you leave the book at the table and you go up with nothing in your hands? I feel like that adds a big element to whether or not somebody's funny.
well, that's
the
only at
open
Mike's.
I think it
Yeah.
also depends.
Is that just a mic
That
thing?
is a mic thing.
That is?
because
Yeah.
if you're just going to mics all the time, you're only going to see dudes looking at their notebooks because it's
Yeah.
like,
But really, at any show, you're not supposed to bring your shit
Yeah, it
up.
looks
like,
so weird. Like
No.
the kids, like I remember last time I went, some kid had an iPhone like up there. and
it's
I thought
weird.
that was
It's weird looking at someone's phone because not only that, you see the glare from the phone on the stage, and it looks weird with the backlight. It's a weird, just a visual when you think about it. Just
I think if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do anything, like maybe set a list down on the stool, and
Yeah.
if you have to look at it, just be as nonchalant as possible. Really, you should just kind of have your set memorized.
if it's like
you know?
I sometimes when I do like if I'm doing like a real show in front of like fucking civilians and stuff, I'll keep like a tiny sheet of paper where I have like maybe five premises I want to go through, and I'll keep that in my pocket just so I have something where I like I don't feel like I don't have a life vest.
This guy said civilians right now.
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
he's
It's
in
like
the
you're a
military.
civilian.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's because it really is so much different. Because I feel like even especially now, we've only been doing mics for each other, so where we have a notion to gear our comedy towards I like racial jokes and stuff like that, jokes about politics, and we all probably feel the same way politically. But let's see, maybe you go to a different
maybe.
place, like you know what I mean.
Yeah, you gotta like make a guy on a date with a girl laugh too.
Exactly. Like you got to be able to be a paratrooper and just drop in anywhere. And I feel like it's getting
Yeah.
harder to do that.
You
Zach
guys
always
are-
talks about comedy like he's in the military.
Yes.
I'm
exactly.
like all the civilians.
And then he goes up on stage and he
Not,
talks about
not
Smurfs.
military, like I'm some sort of rapey samurai. That's what I like to think.
Now, do you guys ever feel like your comedy gets in the way of you getting laid? Like, do you
Yes.
feel like you ever
Oh,
talk
yeah.
yourself out of pussy?
Oh,
'cause you
yeah.
No,
gotta
just
be
mentally.
funny?
It's hard to talk. Like I've had this conversation with a girl sometimes where it's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I'm going to Ziggy's," and it's like, "You're going out again?" It's Monday, and then like, "Well, I'm going out again tomorrow, and I'm going out again the next night." It's hard to fucking
The schedule part of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about like actually being a comic. Like, do you think like you try to be funny around girls and it can kind of backfire?
Oh, do you mean not in like a comedy setting, just in general?
Yeah, just like being a comic and being that type of person, like always like trying to be funny.
Always
on the
trying to be
ball.
on.
Yeah, like does that ever got in the way of like a girl?
I'll say maybe not trying to be funny, but more just like mentioning like stand up and stuff. Like, I'll say this one time I matched with someone on Tinder and it was going really well. And then she was like, "What are you up to tonight?" I'm going out to like the beach or something with friends. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to an open mic. I do stand up comedy." And then she just never answered.
Exactly.
So like, I think it's something like that where it's like it's when girls hear something like, "Oh, this guy does a podcast," or like, "This guy's a comedian." Like,
It's weird.
They get that kind of icky feeling.
Or
where
if they
it's
just
like
find
this-
one
yeah.
thing from your podcast they didn't
Yeah.
like, and they use that as a way to just be like,
It also
Yeah.
depends on like, it depends on the person. I think like half of people think it's a cool thing, and then half of people think that like the only people who do comedy are disgusting, horrible people. Which
you have to be a disgusting, horrible person.
Yeah,
to be a good
no,
comic
they're the people who are right.
It's a grind.
The other people are just uninformed. But that's, you have to like sort of trick people.
Yeah.
One thing that sucks is bringing a girl to see you do stand up and then you just eat shit. Like I brought this girl to an open mic that I used to host. And as the host, like, I know, right? Like, just that sentence alone, like, I should kill myself just for having said that.
Just saying that, like, you want to come to this open mic that I host? I'm like, oh, buddy.
I think I probably
she's got to be there. Not only that, when you're the host, you have to be there the whole time, beginning to end. It's
but
not
it
like
could work because he's on stage the whole time talking to the crowd.
No, but he's there for.
He's
up there for 2.5 hours doing it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. This mic usually wasn't so packed, so I thought it would just be short, and then we could just like chill after. But then, like 15 people showed up, and like I got up, I did my opening set,
which is packed in the comedy, which is packed in the amateur comedy world.
In the open mic world, 15.
I love when you're saying amateur, like regular guys actually get paid. None of us get fucking paid.
Yeah, but it's like, when you see 15 people on a list at an open mic, you're almost like, do I even want to go? Like it's that long. But she like hung out, and like when we left, she was like, that was cool.
Yeah, but,
I'll see you around, and I was just like, bye. Like,
I would never take a girl to open mic, but I'd be like, I'm going to open mic if you want to. If like I'm hanging out at the mic and I have no car, I have no way home, and I'm like, you want to pick me up and hang out for like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, whatever? Yeah, I do that.
Just hang out for 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah. I would never have them sit through the whole mic. That just sounds like fucking brain torture.
It was a big mistake on my part, and honestly, the memory still makes me suicidal.
And especially, I feel like I talk to people a lot, so I'm very social there, so everyone would want to talk to them, and I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to really have you talk. I just want to do my set, and I don't have a review about it. I don't give a shit what you think about the girl bringing the mic.
Right, yeah. It's also kind of like whenever I bring like my brother to like a show or something, like, because when I'm not on stage, like I'm hanging out with all the comics and stuff, and then my brother's just kind of like standing there, like, and I'm his brother, and it's just like, it's like,
it's clear that they're both brothers because when they stand, their arms are both like 3 feet from their side.
Tom's brother looks like he fucked a chipmunk. It really does.
Yeah. My brother's basically just a better looking, probably more successful, gonna live longer version than me. But
when Tom dies, he's gonna get all of his metal T-shirts.
Exactly. One time you
Andrew
said
did say that you love to wear metal T-shirts.
Yeah, this is his white power T-shirt.
Yeah, this is like this is actually what he wore to a funeral before this.
This is actually a Knocked Loose shirt, by the way. Shout out Knocked Loose. Sorry. But,
okay, we'll tag them.
Funny.
What was that?
Is that a band?
Tag them. You like put it up in an Instagram story and just tag Knocked Loose.
It's a hate
5
group.
exclamation points.
It's a hate group. Is Knocked Loose the hate group?
No, they're actually they're just a hardcore band.
Oh, a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they call hate groups.
It's the modern
They're
era.
just hardcore bands of people.
It's a subsect of the alt-right. But what I was Zach one time said about me and my brother, you were like, if we were to make a movie about the story of Tom Crescenzo, we would cast your brother. And I was like, that fucking hurts.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
Fucking asshole.
That's my favorite because I have so many of those, and someone comes up to me, he's like, I don't even remember that. Like,
Zach laughs like he's in the Jungle Book.
I don't know, I like that laugh you do when you think something's really funny and you're like, yeah. Like that laugh.
I got like
They're all planned.
I don't have like a good fun laugh. Like it's weird that I'm a comedian. I don't have like a fun laugh. Like
You do have a fun laugh.
No, it just sounds like I'm either like tying a girl to a train tracks or I've already molested her. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't sound fun.
What do those laughs sound like?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like you should have a curly
You're never
mustache.
escaping now.
You should be in black and white with a curly mustache and a monocle.
Oh, that'd be great.
Now, do you guys still live with your parents? Both of you guys?
No, we're comedians. Of course we do.
Exactly. So now, do your parents, when you tell them like, "Oh, I'm going to do comedy," do they like? At what point do they say, "Guys, what are we doing here?"
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
About 4 months ago.
Ray, can you bring out their parents?
Bring out mom and dad.
But you know what? It's like it depends on who they are. Like my parents are pretty supportive, but sometimes my dad will ask me. He'll just be like, "So Tom, like, do you ever make any money doing comedy?" I'm like, "No, Dad." And
How many
he's
nights a week are you going out and doing comedy right now? Would you say?
Well, right now it's
because of COVID, it's fucked up.
here and there. Like I try not, there's mics every night again, but I try to stay.
But it's like there's a rate of diminishing returns where it's like you're going to the same place every day. Like for us right now, we really only have 2 or 3 bars that let us do comedy there, and it's like we're there every day. Like Whether it's Ziggy's or like at One Eye Jack's, fucking
Yeah, One Eye Jack's great quesadillas,
4 or 5
$5.
And it's just like we're seeing all the same people. After a while, you just want to find a new dojo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these days it's probably like twice a week for me. Like, and also just because like if you're there's always drink minimums at every mic, but if it's the same basic mic every night, like
And it's the same people.
you know, $28 every night on like 3 beers, you know, because you're sort of an alcoholic like me. It gets to you after a while.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you're not getting paid. You have to drive there. You know, you got to have the nicotine. You use nicotine. I remember last time I saw you. So you need the Juul, whatever you use, like pre-show, post-show. You have
What
to
are you
know,
using
so-
now?
These days I've kind of just been like making Black and Milds last full days.
Really?
Like I'll just buy one and then I'll like.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that's
It's
embarrassing.
horrible. I'm a sickening individual. What
I
I'll do
went
is at
through a
work-
black and mild phase just recently too.
Yeah.
Really?
Please don't tell me it was wine flavored.
Wine wood
No,
tip is the
no,
only
that's
way,
not-
bro. The wine wood tip.
The wine was tip is the way.
I bought a 3-pack of them. I was smoking like 2 of them every day. Probably for like a good month.
2 every day.
3 weeks.
Because those
Yeah.
shits, when you smoke them, even if you don't finish it, like afterwards, you're just like.
And you feel shitty. Like,
Yeah.
You feel gross.
There's like
what,
a coating in your insides.
what do you smoke? Like the jazz one? Like which one do you
I
smoke?
just get regular wood tip because I'm not really doing it for flavor. I'm just trying to get the fix, and like the vapes are just too fucking expensive. So I'm like, I'll just.
And after
buy
a while,
this, like-
it's with the vapes. It's more because it is more convenient. You hit it more.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's not like where it's like I was almost thinking about this today. Where it's like I'd probably smoke less weed if it was more convenient. Because obviously the obvious way, but I'm fucking confused myself. But since you have the Juul and you can hit it whenever you want, you end up hitting it way more than you would actually smoking cigarettes, and you actually can have more nicotine in your system than if you were just regularly smoking cigarettes.
Do you smoke weed?
I love weed. Yeah,
Really?
weed is like I'm
No,
fully
officer.
addicted to. I'm fully addicted to weed, but like I love weed. Like weed is just like I'm gonna try to learn to adapt to living with weed. But nicotine's like a fucking burden. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Because there's no joy at it.
Yeah.
Like at least with weed.
After a while, it's like, what are we doing here?
yeah.
With
Like,
the nicotine, yeah.
It's a payday loan where you're just like you're just taking the same loan every day.
You get like addicted to the sickness of
It's
the
horrible.
nicotine.
It's a horrible
a lot of
feeling,
times you get
yeah.
addicted to the ritual of just doing it and going outside and
Well, smoking a cigarette is like pressing pause on life. It's like
Oh,
the only way you could step outside of your job and like just take 5 minutes to do. Like, what are you gonna do if you don't smoke? Step outside and just like look at the
Dude,
sky for 3 minutes. Like,
Working
you're
in
not gonna do
customer
that.
service, that's the most real shit. Like
yeah.
that's what really got me back, like hooked on it. The reason I started vaping is because I tried to quit weed at one point because I had a couple of personal problems in my life. But I tried to quit weed, and you know, I was like, maybe I should have something to pacify, like myself. You know, it's like paranoid. I need something to pacify, so I bought a vape. And I would hit the vape, and I'd be like, "Yeah, this is a good substitute for getting high." And I'm totally not also getting hooked on this now. And then, sure enough, like I eventually started smoking again, and I was like, "Well, now I could just go back to weed and not do the nicotine,
And that didn't work.
right?" No, of course not. Yeah, so
it feels like
that
you're just
worked
playing a
for
shell
you.
game with yourself.
Yeah, that worked for me. Like I was addicted to nicotine, and I started smoking pot again, and I immediately quit nicotine right away. As
That's
soon as
good.
started-
I
Well, it
used
feels
to
like
be
there's a
able to do
payoff
that.
with marijuana though. Like with nicotine, you're kind of just up there and you're just kind of like maintaining. You know, you're just kind of
You're maintaining, yeah.
It's a break where it's like it's like a nap to where I feel like weed's like going to sleep. Where it's like it's nice, it lowers your shoulders.
The problem is when you
Yeah.
get as hooked as me, you start wanting the nicotine while you're high. Like you get high, and your first thought's like, "Now it's time for the nice
nicotine.
vape rip," and then your head, and it does kind of like, especially when you're stoned or drunk, like a nice nicotine head rush. I mean, it's
yeah.
fucking awesome. Like I could see, like that's really what people are addicted to. That first 10 minutes after the first time you smoke
Oh,
a
yeah.
cigarette, it's euphoric. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, it's great.
It feels
yeah.
amazing.
It's
What
great.
I don't even. It's hard to explain too, because like with weed, you're just like, oh, you're more relaxed. Like with nicotine, you're like, I felt nervous and my head hurt, and like my
It's like having a headache. Almost.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I
doesn't-
feel like my eyes are sinking.
If you
tastes like
don't like
chemicals.
if you don't like nicotine, you won't like nicotine. Where it's like if you don't like weed, you might end up liking weed. But if you don't smoke cigarettes all the time and you get that head rush for the first time, you get fucked.
I always said that like nicotine made me more fucked up than weed ever did in terms of like driving a car.
Yeah, I feel like a trucker.
Like I would like smoke a cigarette while driving, and I'd be like, "Holy fuck!" Like I'm
Yeah.
lightheaded. But when I'm smoking weed and I'm stoned, like you can drive. Like it's okay if you're like not a total idiot. But but with nicotine, it's hard. You don't drive high.
No, here's the thing. I
try
do.
not to.
I do, but I used to be kind of insane. Like I would drive while smoking. Like I would pack the bowl like on the highway and like rip it on the highway.
Uh-huh.
And you know, And also, I would drive somewhat drunk. So, spoiler alert, I had a little issue.
You get a DUI?
No, I didn't. I got super lucky. I basically had the greatest cop of all time and also am white and also was 15 seconds from my house.
Really?
Yeah.
So what happened?
He had the greatest cop of all time.
Yeah, he was the greatest cop of all time when he's not kneeling on anyone's neck. But anyway.
My God. So what happened? You were driving a little fucked up?
It's not like, because, driving high, like I said, I can get, like, if I got high, I would be fine to drive now. But, like, it's the drinking, because we go to this open mic at this place called Coaster's Tavern in East Meadow. And it's a great place. Like, it's
not a great
It's
place.
a good bar.
It's a horrible bar.
Oh, come on.
No.
It's maybe the worst
Jen's
place in the
cool.
world. The bartender's great.
Yeah, Jen's awesome.
Everything
Go for
else
Jen.
about it
But
is
that's how you know
horrible.
the bar sucks. Where you're like, the
Jen
people who
good
work
looking?
there are great. The place is horrible.
All right, fair.
Is Jen good looking?
She's a
She's
nice
okay
lady.
for like however old she is.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
forget
good.
about it. Never
And
mind.
then never, you lost me there.
You're like, I'll stop in at Coasters for a little Jen action.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jen's great.
But
very nice
what's
lady.
cool about Jen is like, I guess they had the idea that they were paying whichever comedians were hosting the bar, but the comedians who normally are in control of that, they're like, we don't want the money, so just put that money
they're
back
older.
into the
They're
drinks.
in like their 50s, so they're like,
Yeah.
we don't need free drinks. We can get fucking.
Yeah, so they're just like, throw that money back into the bar and give the comedian some shots or whatever. So she would pour like free shots multiple times throughout the course of one open mic. And like, there was one night where like, I was already stoned when I got there. I get a rum and Coke as my first drink. And then like a double, like a tall glass. And then like, I'm not even halfway through that. She's like, here's another one, Tom, on the house. And I was just like, well, I'm not turning away free shit.
But
so I
the
drank
free
those.
drinks gave you a DUI, or almost a DUI.
Almost,
yeah,
because
pretty
I like literally like I drank that second one, and after the second one, I was telling myself, I was like, all right, you need to not drink anymore because that's 2 fucking rum and Coke doubles. That's 4 drinks. And then she's like, shots, everybody, and I was like, I don't want to be a killjoy, trying to be a good sport, yeah, party. So I took the shot, and then the mic ended, and we had a good time. And I drove home, and I actually made it home, but, like, it was a rough drive. Like, I remember being on the highway and swerving, and, like, I see people just, like, zipping past me. Like, I know the thought process because I've been on the road and seen someone fucked up in front of me where I'm like, I'm just going to get past you. Like, I'm not going to,
out of my
I don't
way,
want to be
get out of my
anywhere
sight.
near you when you fucking do whatever it is you're about to do.
With you, they just saw the corn T-shirt and they're like, I have to get fucking past this guy.
Yeah, they just saw the fucking Stormtroopers of Death bumper sticker, and they're like, I just want to be away from
Like,
this
oh my
individual.
god, do his wheels have spikes?
Yeah, right. It's like, who does this guy think he is? But anyway, I made it all the way back. It was like a 35-minute drive, and I did make it back to my like neighborhood. And then while I was in my neighborhood, I fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and like
Is
I
it
wound up
something-
hitting a car, and it was a whole thing, and like a fucking the people came outside, of course, because it was loud, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like I
Did
didn't.
you clip it? Did you clip the car while
Yeah,
driving?
Yeah, I was asleep. Like
Did
I was
it wake you
literally-
right up?
Yeah, I mean, because you first do it and you're like, and the first thing your brain thinks is like, you hit something, and then you think, okay, mailbox, right? Garbage can, police, and then you get out, you stop, you get out, and you see the damage, and you're like,
Did you fuck
well,
up-
I'm
did you
going.
fuck up their
Was it an
car?
expensive car?
Yeah, it was a Mercedes.
And then Tom saw.
Was it a new Mercedes?
And then Tom saw the
Yeah.
baby he ran over too.
Yeah.
in the car.
Yeah, I saw the family, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have a busy night.
So this is late at night.
Yeah, so
and
it's
they
1
came
a.m.
outside.
And they come out, and, obviously everyone's freaking out, like, what's going on? And they're asking me if I'm all right. Like, they were, obviously they're mad, but they're more just like, are you okay? Like, are you hurt or anything? And then, like, I hear this guy come out, and he's like, so he's like, Helen, the one time you leave the car on the street, I told you not to leave it on the street. I was like, was this really the one time? Like, this was the one time. And then
Classic Helen.
he's like, all right, call the cops. And I'm like, I'm going to jail. So, I called my parents because my house was 15 seconds away. And I just called them. I told them everything. And I was like sort of in shock. So I was also like, I have a problem. I need help. You guys are right about me.
Were you
like
crying?
shit like
Were you
that.
crying?
I was like verge of tears, but I was also
He was
just
Verge
so,
of Tears,
I was
which is
so-
one of his favorite bands as well.
Verge of tears. Verge of anal tears. Yes. No, but then the cop came and like he just came up to me. He's like, "So what happened, man?" And I was like, I was so completely honest. I was like, "Look, like I was at this like bar, like I'm a comedian, and it was an open mic. Like I, just went out really late. Like I was driving home and I fell asleep at the wheel." And he's like, "Are you drunk? Have you been drinking?" And I was like, "I had a few drinks." And he was like, "All right." And then he like went, and then my mom and dad showed up, and like after that, it's that whole thing where you're just kind of like, you know, you're all standing there miserable, ready to kill each other while the cop just like flops his dick around in the car for like 3 hours. Like, it just takes forever. I don't know what they're doing, but they just like sit in the car.
No, they're just like mentally debating. It's like, do I want to do all this fucking paperwork?
And it sucks because it feels like 3 hours because your entire future is on the line in that moment.
It literally does.
It probably only was like 10 and a half minutes.
Yeah, it's probably 15 minutes.
It was, at most it was like 20.
You were probably so drunk and asleep. They woke you up after it was over.
Yeah, I'm like, how long was that? 3 hours?
Did your dad have a bunch of PBA cards?
Well, it's not from my dad, but like my family does because my grandfather is a chief. He was a chief. He's retired. But yeah, we always had PBA cards. So,
isn't that the most corrupt system?
Oh yeah, it's complete.
Like, it feels like
corruption bullshit. Yeah,
it's so crazy that there are just cards.
Of course.
The Police Benevolence Association. It just sounds like
it sounds weird.
Yeah, it's just like
my dad's best friend growing up is the lawyer for the PBA, and I got like every PBA card that's like out there. And it's nice.
Yeah. No, they're just
That's
drive drunk free cards.
That's what they are, but I mean,
it's essentially a policeman's union. It'd be like if like the electricians all came together in their union and then gave out a card that gave you discount work from electricians. You know what I mean?
They're like, oh, you know, Tommy. It's like, well, I'll install a hi-hat on it for the correct price.
No, it'd be like if Tom was involved in the Slipknot T-shirt union.
Slipknot T-shirt union.
And he gave out a card that every time that you were ever wearing an Evanescence T-shirt, you could get away with that without getting beat up by a guy in the Slipknot T-shirt.
An Evanescence T-shirt.
That's an interesting but surprisingly well thought out analogy.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
why didn't you drive away before we change?
Here's why.
Why didn't you leave?
Because he lives down the street. Yeah. He went home.
First reason I lived down the street. Second reason, my car was destroyed. So it's like if you want to find out who did it, just look around the neighborhood for.
Did you total your car? Like,
yeah. Like
you totaled their car?
Both cars, but the insurance covered it.
You have a car right now?
Now I do. I have a new car.
Yeah,
what does your insurance cost a month right now?
Right now, it's not that much. I only have liability, but I got a good deal.
Well, you have an old car.
Yeah, I have an old car. It's like $125 a month.
He had an
it's
IBA
not
car.
Terrible. Like it's not terrible at all. Yeah, it's pretty goddamn good for.
So the cop goes in the car. He comes out and says what?
Here's what he comes out and he's like, you know. He actually said, and keep in mind, while this is all going on, I also had like a freshly bought bag of weed in the car too. So I was like all kinds of shitting my pants.
More or less than an ounce.
Yeah, and it wasn't that much, but still, it doesn't matter. Like it would have been just another thing. Like, oh yeah, also there's weed in there.
So the cop came out and he said, "Listen, Dago."
He said, "Listen, bitch, you're gonna suck my dick." No, I didn't say that.
Jesus Christ.
He was literally just like, "Look, man, so like, you know, you're white." No. All right.
What did he say?
Serious now. He was like, you know, look, I understand how this could happen. Like, you know, you're a performer. It's late. Like, you know, it was a long drive.
He's being awfully generous.
This cop gave me more credit for my comedy career than anybody.
Oh, you're a performer.
I'm like, yeah.
You're like, why can the dog shit on the rug, but I can't? That's like you closed it off.
What if he's like,
no one
son?
laughed.
What if he's like, son? I'll let you go, but you got to give me a solid, tight 5 minutes of material right now.
Oh my god. And he's like, if I don't laugh at everything, I am gonna give you the DUI. I'd be like, just give it to me. But then he's just like, you know, and like you were honest with me about the drinking, and he's like, I could breathalyze you and I could search your car, but like, you know, I think, you know, tonight you were probably just like tired or whatever. And then my mom and dad were like, thank you, officer, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah.
How old were you when this happened?
Oh, this was like about a year ago.
This was 2 days ago.
So how old were you? 20 what?
20. I was 23.
23.
Yeah, I was 23. And, you know, like, I was so unbelievably lucky to not get a DUI. Because, like, not only would I have gotten a DUI, because I hit something, I would have got DUI with obstruction, which means I'd probably still be in jail. Like, that's how lucky I am.
I love how you're just broadcasting how this cop did not do his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
You let me go. I had weed in the car.
Squad car 563.
Yeah.
But
all cops are bastards except for one.
Honestly, though, like people.
Except for the ones who take my cards.
Yeah.
Even that, it's like if I used that as an argument in favor of cops, I would be such an asshole.
Could never.
Like, you didn't give me a DUI. Clearly, they're not all bad.
Even if you hit someone drunk and you gave them a PBA card, the cop would be like, "Really, bro?"
Yeah, like exactly. Like if I tried to do that, like if
there's
I showed
definitely
him a PBA,
there's definitely a fucking level to it where it's like if I'm rolling through a stop sign and it's like there was one time I I rolled through a stop sign because the guy in front of me, behind me, was like up my ass. So I'm like, oh, I'll just roll through. Like, oh, I didn't stop 100%. And then I ended up going through the stop sign. And then the cop was behind me, and it was the guy who like forced me through the stop sign. So you can get out of stuff like that, but you can never get out of like if you're drunk and you hit someone, or if you like maybe if you have something on you, but never DUI.
Yeah, only if you're drunk and you hit something.
I got pulled over for weed, and I showed a PBA card.
Did you? And how did that go?
Well,
Oh wow.
I was driving without my seatbelt on, smoking a blunt.
Oh yeah, that's how they get you.
And I got pulled over for not wearing my seatbelt, and the car was baked the fuck out. You blasted music.
That's when
We've
you
all
get
been
fucked,
there.
man. But
So 45 minutes, you just said how they do it. They take their whole time in the car.
You were
know,
stoned.
doing
That
what
was
they
2
do.
minutes.
Oh, probably, yeah. But he comes out and he goes, all right, like, you have any questions for me? Here's your seatbelt ticket, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, thank you so much. I'm like, fuck, I got away with it. He doesn't smell the weed. And then he goes, all right, I have a question for you. Where's the weed?
Wow. Oh, you thought you were so good.
Ripped me out of the car, put me in handcuffs, the whole fucking thing. This is a long time ago. But he's like, and then they bring another cop over, like, the other cop's like, you're going to ruin your life. Why are you using drugs? And I'm like, I was just smoking a blunt, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the PBA card, he's like, what do you want me to do? Call this guy? Want me to tell him that I found weed in your car?
yeah. And it's,
Wow.
And I was like, no, don't do that.
well, you're also
Please
high
don't.
at the
That's my
time. You're
uncle,
also high
like-
at the time, so that's even if like you don't have anything in the car and they just see that you're high, that's DUI. That's driving under the
Well,
influence.
here's the thing. Like, they wanted to give me a DWI. Like, I walked the line, and he was like, when did you smoke? And I was like, 45
No,
minutes
it doesn't
ago.
even matter if you walk the line. It doesn't matter. It's not an alcohol thing. If they sense weed in you, if they're like, this guy's obviously high on marijuana, it doesn't matter what test they give you. They could just be like it's driving under the influence.
Well, thank God he didn't. He made me follow the pen. I walked the line. And I remember I was stumbling like a fucking animal. I couldn't keep my balance walking the line because it was like a pitched highway on the side of the road. I was in flip-flops. And I was so nervous, and I was stumbling everywhere. I said, I'm going to jail. Like, I'm fucked. But
Yeah,
then
it's probably really like
was
that's how
fine.
scared I was. Like you're just standing there, you're thinking like, all right, like how am I actually gonna live for these next like few years dealing with this shit?
And no
Like,
matter how, like, no matter what you could say in daily conversation of what your religion is, you start begging for every god you've ever thought of in a situation
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. You'll give up anything or do anything to get yourself out of it. It's interesting.
No, yeah,
It sucks though. So now you never drive under any type of influence ever.
like I said, I could still drive high.
Yes, officer. Yes, officer. Just say yes, idiot. The cop who almost arrested you is going to listen to this and be like, I should have locked this
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, he's gonna
idiot
come
up.
find me. He's
I
gonna
know.
have a general idea of where he lives. I'll just
We're gonna
find
do
his house.
marketing just towards cops for this episode. Make this the
General
one
idea of where he
clip.
lives. Would you like drive by his house and like smoke weed and go, that's the guy who saved me.
I'm just like peering out the window. No, but you know what? I could still drive high, but yeah, like if I'm at like a bar, I'm like 1-2 beers at most, and then I cut it. I actually have a breathalyzer in my car, so like I can
Really?
breathalyze myself. It's not like mandated. My dad just bought it.
Your dad
for
bought
me.
it for you.
Yeah, he's like,
he was
I'm
like, I got you a gift.
Yeah, he's like, here's your Christmas
Hey,
present
son.
this year, idiot. Like,
Yeah.
But I could use that. So now sometimes if I've been drinking and I worry like, oh, like I've had like 2-3 beers, like I'll breathalyze it and it'll just, if it's under like, usually it's like 0.02 or 0.01 and I'm like, all right, at that rate it's fine. But yeah, I'll never like get myself fucked up to the point where it's questionable if I know I have my car with me. And if I do, I'm just gonna leave it and then Uber.
I mean, it sucks. It took you crashing into your neighbor's car to learn that lesson.
It
but
does
you know what?
suck. It does
But you know
suck.
what? Hey, now you'll never do it again. So that's good.
No, yeah, and I mean honestly, like you're right. I'm not a religious man, like, but I am very like I thank some sort of external force because I don't know how.
I thank the guitar god.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was praying to like
I think
the
Eric
Lord,
Clapton.
the
I thank
Lord of death.
Satan.
Please save me, Slayer.
So has our other guest used his privilege to get out of a DWI ever in life?
No, I have
that's
one.
good.
No, I've never
No,
really,
he's
I've
been
never really
lucky.
get pulled over. I'm actually very good about not like. I don't like getting super like if I'm at a place and I don't get like super like if I'm at a place and I get high, I don't get super high till I get home. Like I don't
This
do
is how
bong
I.
rips
This is
or
why I
anything.
never trust Zach because he's just lying to our faces. Right?
Yeah, like, I think you're
Like,
the
it's
kind of
just like-
guy, because I'm
like
this
he's
kind of
just
guy too. Or I'll-
Straight face telling
No,
us
no, no.
this.
I won't
Lies.
do like I won't do bong hits and drive.
Just
I
26
used to do
one
that.
hitters.
You smoke weed every day, Zach? Every day?
Yeah.
Now, how long before you wake up to hit your first bowl?
8 hours. I go
8
to work
hours?
Now. I go to work now.
Oh, so you don't
yeah.
get high before work?
Not anymore. No.
Okay, then maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking that you're the kind of guy that wakes up, hits the bowl like me. Wake up, hit the bowl.
Oh,
I did
yeah.
for a little bit.
High to
when I was
high to
un-
high to high to
I
high.
was a little bit for when I was unemployed, but now I got a job and I'm working and shit. So it's pretty much. I'll smoke weed if I have nothing to do. Like if I'm just home bored.
Uh-huh.
But if I have something to do, just to I won't. I don't do anything like super super baked or like get super super drunk. I've definitely driven, probably inebriated and stuff, but nothing like.
You get high before you go on stage?
No, I usually keep it as a treat for after.
Treat. He's like, I did it.
How about you, Tom? You get high?
Yeah, I was what you were saying before. Wake up, smoke, drive to work for a few hours, smoke break, come back in, like
Put
finish
acid
the
on his
job.
nipples.
Are you there right now?
Yeah.
You're there right now?
Yeah, like I wake up, smoke before I get to work, and then I go into work, and then like I work, and then I'm like, hey, I just need to go to 7-Eleven. You want anything? And then they're like, no, I'm good. And then I just get a Red Bull as if I actually enjoy Red Bulls, just so I could go back to my car and grip the bowl again and go back into my job. Like,
Really?
That's the best thing you can think of getting at 7-Eleven.
well, honestly, I do like it now. I like it because just
'Cause it reminds
having
me of
them every
smoking weed.
having
Ritual.
them every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the
It
ritual
means
of
you
the
like
smoking.
it. Just when you hold it, you're like, this means I'm gonna get a bowl in like 2 seconds.
Exactly. Like the feeling of that cold like can out of the the fridge in 7-Eleven. It's like weed's on the way.
Do you
But I
like that
also
life?
developed-
Do you
what?
like the life of going high to high to high to high? Or do you feel like that it's a rut?
I mean,
Heidi,
I feel like
Heidi.
it's a rut, but I just feel like my whole existence is a rut because I tried being sober for 3 months and I hate that too. So
I was doing that at work. I was like, I had the pens all the time when I was just starting getting up with the pens. When I was doing that for a while, and it was just like I was high at work all the time, and it was like, I don't mind. I'm not like, I'm high at work, this is awful. I'm just like, I'm getting through my fucking day, just doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But obviously, if they ever smelt anything, or like now I'm in like a smaller office and stuff like that. I'm on like 34. I'm in like a very small office in like Manhattan, and I can't like smell like anything, or else someone's gonna catch me.
You just gotta smell like shit all the time.
See, that's tough though. I love smoking weed in the city. I would.
It's the best.
right
I
for
love
it, no
walking
idea.
through like Manhattan, just literally smoking the bowl openly. You
Me
can do
too.
it. Like
These
nothing's
guys.
gonna happen.
Can
to
you please
Like,
tell these guys on the other side of the glass that? Because they fucking shred me for smoking weed. in
guys,
public.
you could literally smoke weed on the streets of Manhattan.
get on
and
the
it's
mic.
fine. I do it every time I go to the city. Never been caught.
I do it all the time too.
They're not gonna get arrested for smoking weed in Manhattan.
Just
They
letting
may
you guys
arrest him
know.
for that fucking ukulele in there.
No, but
I love how Andrew's talking about how professional the producers are, and I come in here and one's like, it's just these guys in glasses
it's
playing
two fucking
ukuleles in there.
schmucks.
I know, they're adorable.
yeah, no.
Sam playing an instrument right now?
Oh my god, they look like they're from Jerry Garcia's
Yeah, no.
Nightmares.
I mean, how,
it's like if the gummy bears from the Grateful Dead logo actually became people.
That's
sentient.
what they are. They look alike,
I
right?
know.
You
They're
they-
adorable.
You know
Yeah.
they each wear the same glasses prescriptions.
It's like
they can switch glasses.
Have you ever seen?
Really?
Have you ever
Weird,
seen
yeah.
the Sarah Silverman show?
No, I hate Sarah Silverman. I saw her
old
titties and I
stuff's-
stopped watching her.
Her old stuff's very good. I like some of
I
her
did.
stuff.
I hate the way her nipples look. I can't even look at her TV anymore.
what's wrong
That's
with
what
that?
ruined it.
Well,
She's
well,
traffic cones for boobs. I hate chicks like that. I can't even look at
Like
her
me?
anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you kind of.
Look at those gazelles.
Your whole torso is
Thank
just
you.
a mess, Andrew.
What'd you say?
Your whole torso is just a mess.
I know. It's not my favorite part of me.
Andrew used to be much worse than he is now. I've known Andrew for a very long time.
I disagree.
I disagree. How much worse? How were you like really like?
We were all fat kids growing up.
Yeah, I was a
Look
bit
at him,
wider.
Look at him right now.
Couple-
Imagine
couple-
Andrew's a fat kid. You
Couple
know,
fatty 2x4
Yeah.
can't fit through the kitchen
And
doors.
I was like, I was young, like very young looking until I was like 18. So
True.
like,
and then
like
they were like, you're just young looking now.
yeah, now I'm just young looking. but,
Andrew
like-
looked like Andy Milonakis growing up. As
yeah,
well.
100%.
He did.
That's funny.
And it's like because my
Tiny
name was Andrew, and I looked like Andy Milonakis.
And you kept bologna in your left pocket.
I wonder whatever happened to Andrew Mil. Andy.
He's on like Twitter.
He
and
does, like,
stuff.
Twitch
He does rap. He
streams
does like
now.
Does
Twitch
he?
streams and
He like
stuff.
walks around LA.
Did he have a disease or is that just
Yeah.
a thing?
I don't even.
He
know.
had
He has a
a.
disease.
Oh my god.
He
It's
has,
like,
like-
what do you mean? Is it just a thing?
When you look
Maybe
at him
somebody-
now and
it's
you
like somebody
realize
made it
how
up,
old
I
he
don't
is,
know.
I think when it was like when everyone was
Yeah,
like,
he's like
"Oh my, he
45.
looks 17," and he were like, "He's 25," you know, like he wasn't like outrageously young looking
was
for how old
I
he
think
really
he was. In
was.
his 30s.
Yeah,
He was like 30. He had to be early 30s, something
Yeah.
like that. And he was
Yeah.
like, everyone was like the way he looked, you were like, he's a young 1918, but whatever it was.
well, he
it was-
looked way younger than that.
Yeah, he looked
bet you he
the
got-
fat cheeks, but
I
now
bet
when
you
you
got
look
great
at him,
pussy
you're like,
though when he was huge.
Yeah.
He's probably fucking
But
hot.
think
shit.
about that's like a crazy thing. Like that's like sort of like those girls had to be sort of pedophiles. Like they wanted someone who looked.
Oh, they
like
want
a
to fuck
child.
somebody who's got 4 bank accounts of 250 grand in each.
Yeah,
of
but
them.
you can't do that with Macaulay Culkin when he's like in Home Alone.
he's fucking Brenda Song.
Who says?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
He's marrying.
I don't
You
know.
just gotta have goals.
He's marrying the girl from the Asian girl from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Really?
Yeah, from the Social Network. Brent Song.
Oh shit.
Have you
Andy
guys ever had an
Milonakis?
Asian?
No,
Really?
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh yeah, that makes. I was like Andy Millen.
Yeah,
Have you guys
Macaulay
ever
Culkin's
had
cool
an
now, though.
Asian? Like a girl?
Have you ever,
I mean, I would-
had one? Like,
Have you ever
Yeah,
like
have you ever
had,
checked
like in a
an
small
Asian?
box?
Yeah, have you ever purchased an Asian?
have you ever gotten
I mean,
a little
I would-
mogwai from?
You made out with an
Yeah.
Asian girl.
Yeah, it was fun.
I've heard it's the best sex you could ever have is with an Asian chick. That's what I've heard.
That's what our grandpas who went to Korea tell us.
My God. Oh man, well, 12-year-old pussy in a tent is probably good regardless whether she's Korean or what. In a
Well,
war,
it
probably
definitely has to
phenomenal.
be good, deciding how close you have to hold the knife to her.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Jeez,
So how's
is
like this?
Crystalia coming in soon?
So how's
yet.
it? So like has this like whole COVID thing affected you guys like in terms of how you think about your future as comics?
Yeah, a lot. Because
Yeah.
it just seems like it's going to be a lot harder to get anything started. You know, like as far as like actually gaining traction in any kind of comedy scene, you know, it's like when are comedy clubs even going to come back? Like one thing is like I think it's important for us, you know, just as comedians to find other avenues right now, like podcasts, for example. And like I've been working on this TV show with these friends that I met through another comedian we know named Manny Cruz. Like it's just like I just want to do something creative at this point, and comedy is like that's what I wanted to do mostly for the past like few years. But now you just look at the landscape, and it's like if it's really just gonna be like standing around in parks and stuff, like I'll do it. But like as far as my confidence in the future of it, it's like we all have to find other things now. Because, you know, like time doesn't wait, and like, you know, people are gonna forget about, even if you did have any kind of like fan base, like they could forget about you if you just go stagnant. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the speed which you can improve at is way slower now too, because you don't get to go up and do a lot of shows. So it's like now it's just like you're writing in a notebook, and like hoping that you're good at comedy.
yeah, that is it.
That's what I was saying.
You just
earlier.
write
It's
something,
if
you're like,
just,
that is
If
funny.
you're just doing jokes for comedians the whole time, and
I
you're
know.
like, that's what I was saying
And
earlier.
it's like, we
I
call
like
them
telling jokes about
comedians.
sports, and comedians are like they only care about wrestling. They
We
don't
call
give a
them
shit about-
comedians, but they're
I
not
noticed
even
that
like
last
they're not
time.
funny.
No, you're right.
Like-
my comics. You're right.
Yeah, it's just like it's like these people don't have a good sense of humor. It's like nobody's making each other laugh, which should lead you to believe that nobody is being
Good.
funny.
Yeah, like you want to tell yourself it's just because everyone's super jaded.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it's like I don't know, like we should be making each other laugh at least to some extent.
We should be
like,
having fun when we go here.
But we do. It's not like we never make each other laugh. We do make each other laugh. The problem is we also just know each other.
You
all each
never
other's
make me
stuff.
laugh, Tom. This
Yeah,
is what
but
you're-
Andrew, I was talking about we in the general. I wasn't talking about you and I. Like,
Okay.
But yeah, like
Tom doesn't make me laugh either. I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
nobody in this room makes me laugh except you. So
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
He's just sucking up to you. 'cause you're new to him.
Yes.
Yes, because you're nice to me. But
You have been very nice to him. He's not used to that.
I'm not used to that from anybody.
I see Tom and I'm just like, "What's up, Tom?" I push him down a set of stairs.
Yeah, Andrew just wishes that
He
he
just
could.
rolls down.
Andrew just wishes that his body didn't look like fucking dissolving cheese on a
Oh my
fucking
God.
on
This
the
is a real-
pavement. So he takes it out on me because I actually work on myself. But anyhow,
Wasn't one of these guys
what was
the
I
guy
saying?
that
Oh
said
yeah, we
last
make
time?
each other laugh.
What?
Wasn't one of these guys the guy that said last time the joke that that I look like what you think you look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you, right? Yeah, that was so funny, bro.
That's good. That is pretty good.
Those are my favorite, man. Just because it's like you can't script it, you know.
Yeah, and that's what's
Yeah.
funny.
His joke was so good that you just couldn't script it.
You just couldn't.
But that's
No, but
what's funny.
It's one of those things where if I sat there and I sat there like at 12 p.m. today, I didn't think a guy sitting next to Andrew and I'm gonna insult what he looks like when he gets there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I mean, I would imagine that you did, but
I was like, Andrew. The last thing I'm thinking is Andrew Bergen is bringing a friend. The last thing I think is Andrew Bergen has friends.
I know. You know what's funny? Zach was at a party of mine with like 10 of my friends yesterday.
Wait, but guess what?
Wow.
What?
I forgot about it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, at least you were invited.
Listen, I wasn't the one who did the inviting.
I know. Tell your girlfriend I'm pissed.
You did a show yesterday. How did that
I'm
go?
fucking around.
The
Oh, it was
girlfriend
great.
didn't
It was
invite me
awesome.
either.
It was a
so-
great show. They
was
did a show
awesome.
at One Eyed Jack's.
Wow.
No, but yeah, it was awesome.
What?
Keep it on the DL. No, yeah, it was great.
It was a private party at
Lot-
One Eyed Jack's.
Yeah, it was a private, event, private communion. But we had a
Private
lot of fun.
event.
We had a lot of great people. Renee wasn't able to make it, but who took his place? Why am I forget? Brian Boucher came and took his place.
Oh, he's
I thought
That
you were
was
gonna say
cool.
Kylo Ren. Too.
Kylo Ren took his place. Who else we had? Steve went up. Tardo went up. Devin Bramble went up. We had this one comedian named Chris Schur, who she's a trans lady, and like she was doing I only bring this up because it's one of my favorite like crowd work moments of like anything comedy related. Like there was this like sort of front table with this chick named Lauren who was just kind of being annoying throughout the show, like both heckling and just talking.
She was acting like a Lauren.
Yeah, just acting like a complete Lauren. But you know, she was all like, you know, at one point she calls out during Chris Scher's set, and Chris is like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm a teacher." And then Chris is just like, "Oh, you know, I'm not saying that some schools should have mass shootings, but like maybe the one where Lauren is teaching." And like, it was just funny because she was like leaving. She was also finally getting up to leave at the exact moment that she said that. So that's the last thing she said that she heard before she left the show.
Isn't it funny what we think is funny? We're just like, oh, that's really good that she said that she should be murdered.
I thought it was good. She deserved it. She was being a cunt for the whole show. Fuck you.
She definitely did deserve it.
You had to be there. But either way, it was a good moment and a great show overall. Had a good time.
Oh, that's like, it's just so interesting to see, like, you know, you're not the only people who, you know, careers and their dreams are fucked because of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I know.
But what's different with you guys is what's different between
We
anybody
never
else.
had careers in the first
Yeah, I know
place.
that we were
But it's
always
also,
delusional.
you need to show up in order to do any type of improvement in what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other way to practice it.
There's no other way. Like if you do it in the mirror, it's so upsetting.
It's weird.
No,
Yeah.
and
you need
Zoom
an
shows.
audience.
Have you guys
Zooms
done Zoom shows? I'm
No,
sure it's a
I-
fucking
God.
disaster.
Tom did one.
Yeah, I did
No,
a Zoom
Tom did a
open
Zoom
mic.
show, and then we all like heckled him. Like he did a show on
They heckled me in
Instagram,
the
and we
comments.
all heckled him from Instagram. Like
Where'd
you
you go?
suck.
one basically like it was a Zoom open mic actually. So it wasn't even a show. It was an Instagram live.
He wasn't
open
invited.
mic.
It was an Instagram live one, and like I think you.
And there was this girl who commented. I didn't see any of this while it was happening. I was just like reading my jokes off of like my Word document
In
and
your
just
quiet
talking
room.
yeah, just in my
Oh
bedroom
my
talking at the
in front of his Lars Ulrich poster.
Who would have a poster of just Lars Ulrich?
You! That's not you, bitch!
No, but not even me. Like that's the deepest reference grab you've tried to, because it's like just Lars Ulrich.
Exactly,
Like,
just Lars Ulrich.
it would have been more on the money if you said like Gene Simmons.
No, that's next to him.
I guess. Yeah. All right, fair. But anyway, yeah. So I'm just like, apparently this girl commented like, "This guy's cute," and then they were all just like, "Yeah, he's gay." Like everybody.
Not only were we like he's gay, we're like, are you talking about my fucking man right now?
You can't see what he's wearing right now.
And like the funny thing is the quote unquote host of this virtual open mic, like, you know, his name's Nick Crescenzo. He's a good comedian. He's laughing. And I think he's laughing at me. I'm like, am I really that
He knows
funny?
what happened.
But like, really, what he's laughing at, obviously, is the
So
fucking
you think you're
comment
killing?
stream.
You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like, wow, this is the
my
best I've done at a mic in a
He's
while.
just looking
It's not
at the
even
chat,
real.
and it's just like me and Bergen being like, you suck. You're gay.
And like Renee, just like, yeah, I heard he's a flamer. Like, yeah, you guys ruined my hope for any Zoom comedy related anything.
You're welcome.
But that was probably a good thing.
I'm
yeah.
sorry we ruined your fucking empty, pale Zoom.
My empty.
So what do you guys do?
Sad
Do you guys
Zoom.
like go for the move where you live in your car and really go for the whole comedy life, or do you?
All of us are
I thought
half
about
committed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, you know, I feel like
I
in
have
order
thought
to
about that.
There's
like,
one
in
of
the
those
event.
things where it's like it's almost like it's a sell to yourself to like so committed because I'm living in my car. It's like there's
Yeah.
people who live in their car who don't take notes. You know what I mean? Like it's not a living in your car type of like you could be committed and have a day job. We know a lot of guys who are committed and very good at it who have day jobs. It's just like
Yeah, like I don't think you necessarily
you
have
want it
to, live
to
in a
be your
car.
day job. That's the thing.
People will do that, like maybe if you like moving cross country to like LA, and the only way you could get there is if you literally just take your car, the clothes you have on your
Dude,
back.
if you're like,
everything,
I'm
but-
moving to New York to do stand up as my job, you're not gonna live. You're not gonna make any money.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make enough to live.
most
You
likely
have
be
to have a
homeless.
second job.
There are
There's no
very
way.
few people. Like most
There's
people,
no one like
make money off of their podcast, and then
Yeah.
it allows them to make $500 a week doing stand up. Like
But even
the money-
certain,
the money
money's
comes
not
from
in
other
stand-up.
places.
The money's the auxiliary thing that keeps you going, and
Yeah.
the stand-up's the cherry, the kind of it's a source of income, but it's at the end of the day, you have to do it. If you love it enough, you do it for free. Like when people like, there's always like a thing all the time where you'll hear like people say like, when you getting paid? It's like, I don't deserve to be paid. I suck. And it's always one of those things where I feel like the
Gary
comic
V would be so mad at you.
who deserves
Gary
to,
V would be like, "That's not the winning attitude."
Yeah,
He's
Gary
like,
V.
"You're worth a lot more than
that
that."
fucking midget. I'll punt him into the ocean. That China
He's gonna
doll.
own the New York Jets one day.
I hate him.
Listen, man, I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, we just got 50,000 on Patreon a month, and I don't want to take the money.
Exactly. But Patreon's almost like the people want to give it to you. That's
Exactly.
almost like a ticket though.
So now
that's direct.
Andrew can do his comedy comfortably.
No, I mean it feels good to be making $50,000 a month on Patreon.
It is nice. It is very, very nice.
I know you're both saying it like almost like you can't convince me, but I'm like no.
Yeah, like
Can you imagine?
No,
That's why Patreon. And
wouldn't
OnlyFans
you
are
be
good.
happy and smiling if you were making $50,000 a month on
Oh hell
Patreon?
yeah, but
That's $600,000 a year. I think there's
I would be happy, but I'd be
there's a lot
sad
of-
knowing.
but we have to pay our producers too.
it's one of those.
You guys
things
don't have
where-
to worry about producers yet. You don't have to worry about the audio engineer.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those things.
He's
where
a prestigious
stand-up,
audio
you don't
engineer.
have
Look,
to
I'd be
do
happy
audio.
making 50,000 a
He's
month on
prestigious.
Patreon, but I'd be sad knowing my good friend Tom is killing himself out of jealousy over it.
Yeah.
No, really good shit, guys. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah, no, thank
that's
you.
Good. You're lucky. You fuck.
No, I mean it feels good because look, before this I was barely making any money
At all,
doing
yeah, true.
comedy. One time,
You weren't making any money.
a guy on cocaine gave me $20 outside of Vintage Lounge, and he told me to tell him a joke, and I told him a joke, and then he gave me $20. But then he told me, and he used to work at Gallagher's. He said, "Is Gallagher's a strip club?"
Yeah, Gallagher's 3000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They had
Hear
the
the
commercial with
commercials.
the aliens
I hear the commercials on the fan all the time.
on the fan.
Bad Gentlemen's Club.
Yeah. So he worked there one day, he said. So he was giving me some tips on my jokes.
Jesus
And
Christ.
he's like, here, take
tips.
It's one of
Yeah.
these things where you'll see guys who are like who actually work, and like Richie Byrne, who I know, who like opens for the Dr. Oz show, who has like a job doing comedy, still is like I'm.
From midnight until 2 a.m. So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned in.
From the audio, dude, you get paid for this shit. What are we doing?
Do 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 do.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Did
then,
you?
You know what?
It's the worst. All this kid does is smoke pot all day. And
He
it's
smokes
like,
pot. He plays his guitar.
Sounds like a
It's
cool guy.
ukulele.
it's his union. He's fucking the union.
I know.
I
Wait.
can't fire him.
the union will come after us.
That's what I'm
They'll
saying.
come after all our money.
I don't want to do it. I know. They'd know.
We went to all those Patreon dollars, but that's why like a site like Patreon and OnlyFans is good because a lot of times.
You subscribe to OnlyFans?
No, but
Are you subscribed to any
OnlyFans is
either?
literally
No,
Patreon. You know what I mean?
I just watch
Yeah.
porn because I'm an adult.
It's literally
Yeah.
no, you know what I mean? It's literally the same website, like deep down, where it's like you subscribe to someone for a month.
Yeah.
Or it used to. It started as like some comics almost starting OnlyFans, where it's like you have an OnlyFans, almost like you would have a Patreon. It's just literally the same website, but just adult film stars got like were the first ones to be like, this could be our fucking bag.
Yeah. And
They
Bella Thorne
changed
fucked
the
it all up.
rules.
She
Yeah.
did. Bella Thorne fucked it all up. I heard Tim Dillon talking about that.
I
Yeah.
don't think she really did, but she's just like a dummy. It's just
Ja-
like one of these things where it's like she's been told by so many people that she's intelligent that she actually like believes it. That she's
Dude,
like
it's
this.
so fucked up for her to like fuck it all up. That's like if she released a mixtape.
And it's like the way she did it was
like
underhanded.
she's not
like,
skilled.
To be honest, though, like
it's like when Paris Hilton's a DJ, you know? You're Like Paris
Exactly.
Hilton didn't go to like these guys probably know more about audio engineering.
I
than
know
that
these
fucking-
guys know more about Paris Hilton.
I know, definitely.
to be
They
honest,
know about DJ.
I saw their Simple Life T-shirts when I came in here. I know what I was getting into.
I love that show growing up, The Simple Life.
The
I
Simple
used to
Life.
jerk off to the DVD cover. I had the first season.
Did you?
Of Nicole
How old
Richie
were
and
you?
Paris Hilton. Oh, God. 20? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe 17, 16?
16. You
Maybe
So old.
16.
Why didn't
Not
you just go on the
internet, kid.
internet?
No, maybe I was younger.
You
What
could
year
have
did it?
literally saw Paris
What
Hilton
year-
suck dick.
Yeah,
So then
you
it was
should-
2 years.
could've
No,
saw
that's
We were
not
Kim
like
right.
10 when it
Suck
came
dick.
out.
No, we
Or
were
you were probably-
older. I was probably maybe I was 12.
12.
I don't know, bro.
Was it
But
like
people
was it
ask
like
me-
one of your first jerk off things?
No, the first time I ever jerked off was to erotica.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I found
erotica.
Erotica.
yeah, I found like a book in my mom's room because I used to love to read when I was younger, and I started reading this book that I found, and it was like very sexual, and I was like, I could jerk off to this. So I did. And
That's
I was
like-
probably 11,
I did.
10.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you? What was the content? You have to remember.
It was just like this girl was fucking this dude in the book, and it was very descriptive.
Yeah.
Like licking
it's so funny.
nipples and
Some people
biting
are-
clits.
Some
and it
people
was
are
like,
good
what
at
the
writing
fuck?
that
I have
because they
a-
know a lot of adjectives.
I have a friend who's like, he was a model, and he's on like on the cover of those. Where it's like,
Really?
yeah, where it's like indecent delight, and it's him like him with his shirt off, crossing his arms on the cover.
Well, if you ever want to get real fucking stoned one night, Andrew doesn't smoke weed, lose your mind.
Mm.
Bill O'Reilly wrote one of his first books. is an erotica.
Is it really?
And he has a book on tape of it. Yeah, so
Wow.
you can go on YouTube and listen to Bill O'Reilly read his book on tape in the 80s and like I think it's like late 80s, early 90s.
I'm pretty sure that's what got
I
him
know
kicked
what
off
I'm
Fox
watching.
News.
That's exactly what I came.
I know
talk
what I'm
about
jerking
licking
off to for
nipples
the
and-
next 3 months.
I know.
Sexual fucking person I can imagine.
I know.
Isn't it very Bill O'Reilly of Bill O'Reilly that like one of the things he did was he called someone, he was jerking off on the phone as he was talking to like some female executive.
He did more than that, bro. He paid out that girl like what, $30 million?
There was so many payouts with Bill where you're like, there's too much for there not to be something more than just.
Even if he like made a girl like dress as Abe Lincoln and suck your asshole, that's not worth $30 million.
Yeah,
Like, what did he do?
He
to
called
that
the one girl hot
No,
chocolate, which is I thought was funny, to be honest.
You gotta be a pimp if you're working at Fox News.
It's
No, you
funny,
didn't.
even though
That's,
even,
you got to be the opposite. You got to hate pimps. You got to hate pimps and talk about how their music sucks.
even knowing all this about Bill O'Reilly, I still hate Tucker Carlson more though. It's weird.
Tucker,
He is
like,
a fuck.
Like Bill O'Reilly's an actual rapist, but Tucker Carlson is the one I wish would die.
like
I
if
don't
you
know
saw,
why.
if I saw, I know it looks
I
like
can't
Tucker
stand
Carlson.
that motherfucker.
Like as Bill O'Reilly, at least there seems like something there. Like I feel like if I hit Tucker Carlson with a body shot, he would just like disintegrate.
Tucker
Like, just-
Carlson looks like he should be cast in Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he looks like the mean owner of a grocery store in like
Yeah.
a Dennis the Menace type
Yeah.
movie.
I always just picture him like in a candy shop and he's like taking the candy from the kids.
Yeah,
Like,
just
you
like
kids like candy?
He's like, "Do you
Too
want
bad."
this? Well, you can't have it. I'm buying the whole store."
Or I imagine him getting up to speak at like a fraternity chapter's like fucking like chapter meeting every week. Like I just imagine him with like a pink polo and like
wait.
Sperry's just like, all right, everybody. Like
you guys
that's
see
just
that-
the image I get of him. He's just this dumb frat asshole. Like that's.
Did you guys
what
see
I
the Jerry Falwell news?
New Jerry Falwell news,
Oh,
not
I
just
think
the
we were
picture.
talking about it yesterday. I think it was Jerry Falwell, who's like he's the president of Liberty University, which is like the evangelical university. Like
Yes,
it's the
yeah,
most
I'm
like when you go there, you sign a contract saying you will not engage in premarital sex, or if you do, and they catch you and they find like they could do an investigation, literally being like tracking you down for like watching. Like, did you have sex with this person? Get out of the fucking school. Like Trump goes there, Ted Cruz goes there, and they do speeches to, like rouse out the evangelical base and stuff like that. Jerry Falwell, whose dad started the school, is there's an article in Reuters came out. Like the first two things in the article, like he's an embezzler and he's stealing from the taxpayer. He's stealing not the taxpayer. He's stealing from the investors in the university. And the third one's like, and he had a 20-year-old fuck his wife while he watched in the corner.
I heard about this. Yeah, I heard about this guy. Yeah.
That's fun.
And he's like one of these weird conservative guys where it's like, there's no gay people at my school.
Yeah,
The kid came out and he was on he came out and talked about it, right?
He's like 28 now. He's older. He's a man. Like he
He's
was
like, yeah,
actually
I
in a
did
business.
it.
He was in a business relationship with them, and that was part of it. Where he's like, I don't want to be involved anymore. Cause it's just like
Oh my god.
it's a weird sexual try. And he would watch like, oof.
Oh god.
Even if like you were a weird evangelical guy and your wife's getting dick down behind your back, that's embarrassing. But
Do you think he would
The
watch?
fact that you watch too.
Yeah, I feel like he would watch arms crossed, not jerking off, just arms crossed. He'd be like, okay, like he'd be kind of like learning. It's like he's sort of like,
so that's what that
But
does.
do you think he'd still be hard,
Yeah.
or would he just
Yeah,
be
yeah,
standing
yeah.
there like he's just hard with his arms crossed?
No one sits there and watches their wife have sex willingly and isn't hard.
I
you know
feel
what
like
I mean?
it
If
might
he
be a
didn't- if he wasn't
wave.
hard, he wasn't be in the room.
Because you're into it. That's probably why he
The thing
wants
is,
to do it.
I always think that it might be a wave where at one point during the thing you kind of come to your senses and you go like, oh man, what am I doing? And then like you like take a deep breath and then you're like, okay, we're back. We're back
Yeah.
online.
That's gotta. I imagine that too, because it's like something like cucking. Like there's just no way you can package it that it doesn't sound pathetic.
Yeah.
Like
and-
no matter how you frame it, like I'm doing what I want for me and my urges. It's like yeah, but dude, like
Yeah, even if you like can compartmentalize really well, like at some point you're gonna like it's gonna fall out of the box into like real life, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna have to do the dishes later. So what are the kids gonna think?
It's just like the thought of clocking into work the next morning after you just watched like your wife and or girlfriend fuck somebody
I
else
know.
and
Yeah,
took pleasure in
but
it.
the
It's
thing is
like-
that these people
But
can
then
just
he would watch his wife get fucked and then go up there and talk about infidelity and how pure he was and how great like the people at his school
Yeah,
are.
I know.
and they have
That's what's
great
fucked up about it.
conservative values and
But
shit like that.
I feel like the more that you act like you're so pure, the more enticing doing
Yeah.
something like that is. where
that's
you just
exactly
go
what
like,
happens every single time where it's
Yeah.
like, it almost is a cover up where it's like it's like, oh, why didn't we see this coming?
God only knows what Mike Pence is doing to his wife.
Nothing.
Yeah,
He's not doing a goddamn thing.
Probably
He's hiring
not
some
even-
Puerto Rican to do it.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't even really notice her when she walks
Yeah.
around the house.
He makes a woman watch, makes his wife watch as a guy just like hangs him up, like ties him up, like all sorts of like weird bondage, and then like swings him around the room. I don't even think he likes sex.
I think he just jerks off to
Doesn't like
videos
sex.
of gay people in like conversion therapy
gay
camps. Like I
people
think that's what
burning.
yeah, just like gay people being electrocuted until they're straight. That's what
It's
he jerks
like-
off to.
I don't know. I think people like that. It's like you just care too much.
Yeah.
I know.
You gotta
And
loosen up a little.
you got to remember that we are
That's-
from a great place where a lot of people are
he's
from
like
the middle of
Indiana,
nowhere.
and they have like nothing better to focus on. They're like,
I
what?
know.
Gay people?
It's real easy to sit in a field and hate fags when there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, here we can, go to Chipotle.
Invite fags on our podcast.
that's
You
what
know?
it is.
It's just like
They
the
just need
nearest
more-
restaurant 6 hours away.
You can only go to
They
Chipotle
just
so
need
many
more
times.
Chipotles in the deep south. That's all it is.
I know.
if only you could solve all the social problems.
They're like, you could put lime in rice.
and then everyone's like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not a choice.
John Oliver had a great thing on Chipotle where it's like, the fucking craziest thing Chipotle did is convince you that this $12 burrito is actually healthy.
And that is
Yeah.
very true. Chipotle is not healthy.
It's not healthy
No,
for
it's
you at
horrible
all.
for
I've
you.
never eaten it and felt good afterwards. I
Well,
feel
it's
hard.
different. It's just like Taco Bell. It's like if you tried to make a Chipotle style burrito at Taco Bell, it would have like cheese sauce. It would have like it would just be like all wet and gooey. I think that what they do is that they make
Yo,
it dry.
Stevie Nicks, talking to the microphone, bro. You coming away?
How far away am I?
I mean, I think the front of the microphone is really where you want to
Yeah,
aim.
dude.
Then why do they set it up like this for me? Now I'm good.
Because you could sit on the stool.
Because they want to hear your voice.
I like to stand up as I talk. I can get more animated.
You don't have good legs.
Now he knocks the mic around. Sam has a heart attack.
Hey, just let me live.
I'm trying to let you live, bro. I'm trying to live over here too. I'm trying.
Okay.
Oh, man. So I'd ask you guys if you have any like upcoming spots, but that's dead.
Here's the thing. Even
well,
if there
actually,
wasn't
kind of.
COVID, I wasn't.
The problem is, like, I do have upcoming shows, but the guy I produce them with, like, he feeds me so much information at a time, I don't even for sure remember, like, which one is next and where it is. But I know I have a show coming up.
That's good. That's good.
It's on, as far as I know, it's on September 18th.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So,
You kind of
yeah.
got to be hush hush about it too, because now
Yeah.
the fire marshals come down to places where
Yeah.
like, if you post something online and with an address, they'll be like they keep it in their back pocket.
Yeah, we don't. No fire marshals listen to our podcast
Yeah.
yet.
Do you guys have
Only the cops who
Instagrams?
pull the
So
cop.
the nymphos, like most of our audience is
Yeah.
like 18, 19-year-old girls. So they'd love to slide in your DMs.
They would
and
love.
Try to
They
slide
would
they
love
would
my
love to.
Instagram. My Instagram is literally like comedy posters and pictures of my own shit that I like draw over on Snapchat.
What is it?
Just like pictures of my shit. That
What
I
is
like.
the
your-
name
your
of your
Instagram.
Instagram, dummy? I'm trying to
Zorro
let you
Bitchin'.
plug. What is it?
Zorro bitchin'.
Zorro Bitchin'.
Yeah.
And what is your Instagram?
My Instagram is at tom.crescenzo. That's CRESCENZO for all you non-Italians out there.
And now a question I got to ask you guys.
Italians can't spell that either.
A question I have to ask you guys that we ask every guest on our show is, what are your credit scores?
I do not have credit.
You have no
I
credit.
have no credit.
Never bought a car.
This is so funny because
I mean, I have. Here's the thing. I just don't have a credit card. I don't know what my score
You know, I'm
is.
shocked.
You have
get-
credit.
I'm
I don't have
shocked
one either.
that the
It's
kid
I'm actually
that-
getting
we
one
both
soon.
don't have credit cards.
I'm
This is
bo-
why we brought you both in today.
The problem is, why would you have to? I don't know. It's why. It's for me. It's like I
Okay,
have nothing.
we have to
worth
explain
buying.
to him why you want a credit card.
So wait, you don't have a credit card?
I don't either.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I do.
He doesn't,
understand.
I don't want it to explain it to him.
No,
he
I
doesn't want
don't
to hear it.
understand.
I don't know what it is.
Andrew.
Like-
I just don't care. It's like,
don't
He
know
does
what
not
it is.
Can I just,
understand
like,
the
yeah.
credit card.
I just want to ask, like, seriously, not even joking, what is a fucking credit card?
Oh my
A
god.
credit card is a way. It's a card that let you use someone else's money that you pay them back for.
This is like me explaining someone how to diet.
This is like saying, how do you grow up? Like, you have to have credit if you ever want to borrow money.
I know I have credit. I just don't know what my score is, and
You've never had a credit card.
No.
You've never bought a car.
I have. I just bought one, but it's
a
like
new, no, you-
not like from a
But you
dealership.
gotta
not a
No, I bought it
from,
1999
like,
Chevy Cavalier. I'm talking about a real, like, you financed a new or a used car.
negative.
So you don't have any credit, bro. Do you have a
Nope.
student loan?
Yes, and I've been paying that off.
So you might have a little bit of
And
credit.
I'm also paying my car
I have
insurance.
like
so I don't
I have
know if
like
that
rent
helps.
payments and other
doesn't.
shit like that. I put my rent in my name when I was at college, so I have the payments on that and stuff like that. I have other shit in my name that I've done over the course of the years to make sure that there's actual credit in it.
But neither one of you guys, and what are you? You said you're what, 24?
I'm 24, yeah.
And how old are you?
25.
And you no credit cards.
It's like, well, the reason is
You guys have dads?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
reasoning is like, why would I get one? I have no reason. I have no reason to buy something. Like, I have no reason to buy something with a credit card that I wouldn't already use with my debit card anyway, and just cut out the middleman and where it's my own money, and I don't have to pay someone back at the end of the month.
Because you have to show some type of record of proving that you could pay people back
Yeah,
when you want a mortgage.
and you just you spend the same amount of money that you would, and then you just automatically pay it at the end of the month.
Listen, it's great. People get fucked up and have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of credit cards.
Yeah, that's why.
You
So I
know,
was like, I
do you
was
not
like,
trust
shit.
yourself to have a credit
No,
card?
it's not. I don't trust myself. It's I have no reason to not. I could see myself having one for emergencies and stuff like that, and using it and making the payments on it. But I would never use it every day.
I don't trust myself.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be
you
right
shouldn't have a
out,
credit
like-
card. You've made a good decision there.
It would just be
I'm
something.
blown away that the kid that totaled his neighbor's car because he was drunk on the way home from the comedy club doesn't have a credit card. That
Why?
in and of itself is
Really?
shocking.
Oh, just to blow it up.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
He's gonna
you
leave,
got
like,
a lot of fancy
$42.
stuff.
But that's good. That's good, man. That's like because people really fuck themselves over.
It
with
is one of those
credit.
things for me too, where it's like I feel like I would just be like borrowing against it all the time. For it's like I don't have anything to buy where I need to borrow against. You know what I mean?
So you know what we call somebody with no or low credit?
What do you call them, Adam?
You guys are coconuts, and that's why you're here. This is the coconut show. We bring people on that are, not perfect in life.
We got you. We got him.
You guys are killing it.
Oh, you got
We
me.
got two
Play the
coconuts.
sound, Sam.
And here I thought I was mediocre.
Oh man.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Let's wrap this up. I think that, like I said before, Tom, you are a good dude. Thank you for showing up last minute.
Thank you for having me.
Zach,
Pretty much a douche. Go
come
with it.
on, bro. What are we doing?
Scumbag.
What are we doing? If you want to be successful in life, you got to
So
commit.
rope.
Making
Yeah.
But that's okay. They're both
Commitments
here.
you can't
I
stick
I
with.
think we had fun. I know Tom's itching to hit a bowl. I am too. So let's get the fuck out of here, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for
in.
coming out.
Thank you.
Sam and
guys.
Ray,
Yeah.
thank you. Until next week, the Coconut Show episode 5. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on, guys. Really appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah. Thank you for hitting me up.